Okay, let's switch gears now, because the divide between flying cattle class and first class seems to be growing certainly by the day. While many airlines have ditched free food and economy, those turning left or hopping on board a private jet are getting an increasingly lavish serving of fine food, a sign of a widening class divide, or just good business? Let's find out, because we've got some yummy food too. Lindy Redding joins us. Lindy Redding is from the flight caterer Absolute Taste. Also, Jeremy Clark, Airline Catering Consultant. To you two, welcome. Lindy, thank you for supplying all of us lunch. You should see the crew out there. They're all salivating. Lindy, let me start with you, and we'll talk about this particular food in a minute. But you cater to the private jet industry. A lot different from how most of us fly, but I can only imagine those who can afford that kind of travel must have very expensive taste buds.
They do. I mean, it's changed since the recession. I mean, it used to be much flashier beforehand. Now it's all about good quality. They are a little bit more careful about what they spend, but they know what they want. So it's a very bespoke service.
But they can just pretty much order what they want, right? And they still pay for it. It's not included, right? They say what they want.
Exactly. They can order whatever they want. We have a menu. Hardly anyone ever looks at it. They just tell us what they want, and that's what we provide. And Jeremy, am I right by saying that, you know, I mean, this is a little beef, something looking very lovely here, but this will taste different at 35,000 a feet because our taste buds change.
It will. Food does change its taste at altitude, and in the market, in the industry that I'm in, we are constantly striving to look for ways to overcome that with using of umamis and various flavorings that isn't MSG, something healthy, to help raise the flavor levels. The same with the wines. You lose your taste at that altitude, so you need to do something to pep the food up a bit. Wow. And as far as the quality is concerned, yes, executive jet food is absolutely the very, very best. But as you say, as you turn left onto a plane, that food is also up there with that quality. Yeah.
Can we talk about, I mean, let's have a look at, you know, some of this food here, because food, I'm not going to use the right terminology, but food, it has to be actually specially designed by these chefs, if you will, designed, created, because, I mean, like, this gets cooked on the ground, but and they've got to work out how much to cook it before, because then it's got to be preheated up. So is this food? This
food is actually served cold on the jet, because it can come in a box. So it's actually when you haven't got someone on the jet to serve it. But other food that we do, when there's somebody on board to actually put it into an oven, yeah, we take it to a certain place, and then they actually finish it off on the jet. And we provide full instructions. In fact, we've got a little, you can go online and then you can actually see how to put it together, so they can see exactly how. Because how we want it to be put onto the plate is how we want them to serve it, which they might do it upside down if we don't show them.
Maybe so. Jeremy, far cry from this. You and I were talking before we came on air. The global catering industry by 2020 is going to be worth $17.2 billion.
That's what they say.
That's a lot of money. But the food down the back is pretty shoddy, really, isn't it?
And some of it you even have to pay for.
A lot of it nowadays, right?
A lot of it nowadays. In fact, another figure for you here, Aaron. The average, there was a survey done in October last year showing that out of 20 countries, 80% of travellers purchased extras, and the spending average was $62. So people are getting used to the fact that they're having to buy more on the plane. The question is that good for the airline? Is it good for PR? Is it good for their brand? Well,
talking about good, so we know British Airways has removed, very controversial, removed free food, if you will, from economy class on short-haul flights. This sandwich I've been holding is what they are offered to buy on board. They've done a deal with Marks & Spencer's, M&S, getting rid of food in economy on a legacy carrier. Smart move, dumb move, Jeremy?
Super dumb. For one specific reason, is that British Airways has something that the competitors don't have, and that is heritage. And they don't seem to be able to capitalise and put value to that heritage the way that they should, because that is what differentiates them from the Ryanairs and the EasyJets of this world. And by putting buy on board into economy, they have immediately plonked themselves into the same competitive market. So everybody says, well, now I just compare like for like. Now, BA will turn around and say, oh yes, but it's Marks & Spencer's. But actually, if you are Joe Schmo living in Austin, Texas, you're flying to Berlin, they don't know what Marks & Spencer's is. It means nothing to them. Yeah, so has it been thought through? I question it.
Lindy, when you fly, I'll put you on the spot. Do you fly private or do you fly commercial?
I fly commercial.
Do you really? You work in that industry and you're flying commercial? No. So what do you, because you're involved in food, are you always disappointed when you're on board, wherever you're sitting on board?
I'm quite critical of every food, wherever I am, in a restaurant, wherever. Yeah, I mean, as you say, in the pointy end, yes, it is of quality. I'm usually pretty disappointed, which is a shame because I know it can be done, and I know you don't have to be. You don't have to use foie gras and lobster. You just have to use beautiful products, and you can do it quite simply, which doesn't cost a fortune. So it does disappoint me that it could be better.
Yeah. Now, in about 20 seconds, if I can. I mean, 20, 30 years ago, even in economy, the food was fairly decent, but the cost cutting and the cost cutting, they've targeted the wrong thing. Is your opinion, right?
Absolutely. I mean, if the cold face of your product is the hospitality, I mean, if you're DHL and UPS, then sure, put yourself in a box and check yourself in. That's the way you want to go. But if you are selling hospitality, then that is the cold face of your product. And for the cost of it, compared to the impact that it has, I mean, very, very quickly, in 10 seconds, you remember a good, bad, or indifferent meal you had on an airline in the last 6 months. You remember. Do you remember what you had for dinner at home a week ago today?
Not at all.
Of course.
Not at all.
So there you go.
Lindsay Redding and Jeremy Clark, thanks. You stay there, and I'm going to do the markets, and then we'll come back and have a little taster, won't we? I told